Hello, welcome to Loba Designs. Another car video for you, even though this is a pretty graphics channel. But today we have a W203 C270 CDI wagon, and we're going to be replacing some blown rear speakers with some new Sony XS GTF 1639s. No, there are two in the box. I bought two boxes of these because I thought there was one each. They're on special, $80 down to 60, and I was like, oh, two speakers for 60 is very cheap. So I got two. So I'm going to be able to replace one. I'm going to be able to return one box, which will be good. But you'll see that we run into a bit of a problem because you can't just mount these speakers. You pretty much can't. So they're 6.5-inch speakers. You pretty much can't mount any traditional speakers into these because you'd either have to drill new holes, which is fine, but there is another way to do it, which I'm going to show you, which is using the original plastic mounts. Takes a bit of cutting up and stuff, but in the end you'll be allowed to use the original plug, which is also a benefit. So yeah, what you're going to need for this is not too much. You'll need a pry tool. I like using these big ones. You'll need a pair of pliers, pointy nose pliers for getting the door handle hook out. You'll need a T15 and a T27. The T15 is for the door trim here, and the speaker screws, which are, even though they're fairly large, they have a very small torque size, which is odd. And the T25, 27 is for the door screws. So let's get started. Okay, so you want to start by undoing this. Quite easy. Always keep a bag for your or a box or one of those magnetic things. I find bags work pretty well. Next, you will actually probably need a thinner one. So ideally what you want to do is pry the bottom here. You pry that, and it'll kind of pop, and then that gives you enough room to put another one in. And kind of go up. Alright, there we go. Once you get one bit popped, it's pretty easy to get the rest. There you go, it comes out. Be careful with it, obviously. So now we can get the T27. Take the main door card screws out. Okay. Do it like that. The bottom one. Now they should be loose. They're pretty hard to get out, so it's basically easier just to pop the door card off and just catch them when they fall out. So we'll go ahead and do that. Now you want your fat pry tool. Stick it in. Start here. Pop one out. Pop another one out. Another one. Couple more. All of them come out. You can see that this is all the broken kind of debris from the speaker, because it's fully broken all around the edge, which you'll see. Now we can take the door card off. Oh, another thing, it's very good to have your windows rolled down while you're doing this for the next step. So you just pull up, because it's the main kind of seating point is at the top with the rubber seal here, and then when you put it back on, you're going to start with that top bit and putting this through. So you take that off, and behind the door card you'll have a window switch cable, and you'll have the door handle cable. So you get your pointy nose pliers, and you go on this hook here, and you pretty much just pull it, lever it out, and then now's the semi-hard bit. You grab this black plastic, you just pull on it, and then pull up, and now the whole door card's off. So now we switch back to the T15, and we proceed in taking the speakers out. Now this is the plug that we're going to want to retain the functionality of, and this is the kind of shroud mold, plastic molding that we're going to modify a little bit so that our speaker can mount directly to this, and we can retain these three screw mounting positions. So back to the T15. Alright, once you've done that, the speaker will just come out like that, and a bit of glass. So the reason it's stuffed is because this whole bit of the speaker should be attached to the side here, and it's not anymore. So it's, when you put the bass on, it just fucking goes. What we're gonna have to do, we're gonna have to cut each of these supporting spokes, and we're gonna solder some wire onto these metal bits so that we can still use this plug for our new speaker. And we're also going to take this top bit out from the main part. So we'll go into the workshop to do that. Alright, so we've done this before on a previous speaker, but what you want to do is just get some cutters like this and cut these . I have to cut the previous speaker wire. And then you have the speaker out. You do want to make sure that you cut it low enough so that the new speaker has enough clearance on these. And what you can also do is grab these and just twist them until they break. And you can flatten them out a bit so that they're neat. Bend them up. Now we want to separate this top bit with the foam on it, because this foam sits right up against the door card, which means you can't actually put the speaker in there, because the door card will hit it. It'll hit whatever two-way speaker you have here, or any of this. So if you're lucky, the glue should be kind of, you just pull on that and it should start to come out. And you can see there it comes out, and you just pull it all the way around, and now you have a good place to drill holes for your new speakers, which fit quite nicely in there. And so we'll get on with that. Now what I did was I put the new speaker contacts right next to the old ones, so that it's just neat. So yeah, we'll go and drill the holes. Alright, so your speaker should come with a set of screws. I've already done one speaker, so I have 4 left. I had to cut the length of these screws down. I cut it down about 1 centimeter, because after you have screwed it in, they will most likely poke out from this edge, and that will interfere with the door, and you won't be able to tighten these properly. So I just cut all of them down with an angle grinder. But yes, so I'm using a 3mm drill bit, and I'll just put the speaker in and drill our first hole. Now this speaker is really good because it has lots of mounting holes, so you can pretty much pick any variation, but you want to have about 4. You can work with 3, but 4 is better in an even orientation. So we're going to start here. Just mark that with a little pre-drill and just drill through that. Then you put the speaker back on. And you should have a nice hole. Now it's easier to drill the holes with one screw in. I'll just tighten this up. Put it onto the speaker. Make it semi-tight, just so it makes drilling the next holes a lot easier. And we'll drill the opposite one so that it can't move anymore when you do any more screws. So now when you do the next screws, this can't move anywhere. So we'll do our next one over here. And you don't really want to do it here because this is where the plug is. So the final screw has to be a little bit off center. Now that hole is not straight, but these 2 holes don't actually line up very well with the with this rim. So this will have to do. And put the final screw in now. Hole that we already drilled before. So this is basically tapping the tapping all the holes, and then we're going to have to take these out again. I'm going to use an electric drill to do that. So they're all in nice and tight. Now you have a speaker that's mounted to the original plastic mold, and it fits basically perfectly. It's a very good fit, and you can mount this in the car using the original 3 mounting holes. And we're going to wire this up so that these are connected, which will then let you use the original plug, which is great, keeping things stock. Besides this, but if you bought a new speaker, you would have to buy a new one of these anyway. The speaker comes with a new one of these, so it's not that big of a deal to kind of half destroying this. So let's take the screws out, grind them down, put them back in, and then fit it to the car. Safety first. So now go ahead and mount your speaker like you did before with the uncut screws. So get your speaker. Another good thing about lining this up with that is that you always know what orientation your speaker was in. Now these might be a bit hot, so just be careful. So now that that's done, we are going to solder the connections on so that we can use the original plug. Alright, so quick intro to soldering. You want to get your flux paste. You can attach solder. If you're soldering a wire to a bit of metal, what you want to do is first put your solder on there. So that you have enough hands, because you won't have enough hands to hold the solder, the wire, and the soldering iron. So get some solder. Yes, whatever tool you like to use for this, chuck it on the metal.
That's not soldering, that's...
Sorry, flux. Yeah, flux. And wipe that off. Then you got your soldering iron and your solder. And check that it's hot enough. Yep. Now, put on the metal, solder, just put a bunch on, fair bit. Do it on the other one. Fair bit. Then you get your wires, and in this case we have our positive on the left and our negative on the right on the speaker side, but on the car side we have the negative on the left and the positive on the right, so we're going to have to switch them. So you just get your stripping tool, strip it down, twist your wire ends like that, and dunk them in a bit of flux. Then you can already go ahead and connect your wires. So our negative goes on there, now positive is over here. And you can bend them back a bit if they're in the way. And so we want our negative to be over here. So we just get our soldering iron, put our negative wire here, and touch on there. Now all the flux is all the solder has gone to the bottom. So there, it's on. Wait for it to cool before you let go. Now it's on. Now we can do the positive side. I'll just rotate it. Alright, solder's melted. Let it cool. And we're done. Now you'll want to tape up your wires just so that they're not flopping around in the car. Just make sure they're not touching down here, which these are pretty close, but they're not touching. And now you can just plug it in and it'll work just like the stock one. So we can go and do that. So we can go ahead and plug them in. What you want to do before putting the door card back on is just test it. If you have a modern head unit, what you can do is you can go into your settings, audio settings, usually it's under fader, and you can isolate any of the 4 speakers. So that's front left, front right, back left. And so we just did the back left, so we put on the back left, and you can listen to it, there's sound coming out, so it's working, which is great. Alright, so the speakers are working. So go ahead and get your door card. Don't forget to plug in your Windows switch. Just plug in up here. Put that back in. Now you have to do the door handle. So you want to start with the hook. So grab the hook, put the hook in, and then pull the plastic bit back and in. And now pretty much mount the whole door card. You want to start with the top and get the rubber into the door window. So you want to make sure that the window, the top of the door card needs to kind of clip. It sits in like a metal rail at the top here. So you want to start with the top, make sure that's seated properly, and make sure this is aligned properly. And then you can press in all these side clips, which are loose right now. But if we just give them a whack, they'll clip in. So you just bang your hand
so that all the clips go in, and then we have to do these 2 screws and this one over here. So we'll start with the 2 big ones. Go get your bag. So these ones are a little bit tricky. You might have to jiggle, so you might have to play with it a little bit so that it gets into that captive nut on the other side. Very difficult. Yep, got it. So, tighten it up. Gee, that was quick. And do the same with the top one. That went in real quick. Then just get your door handle trim. Put it on. Give it a couple whacks. Now we can finish with the side trim. Get your smaller T15. Now you want to be sure to get this clip up inside the actual door frame. So not just on the inside of the door card, but also the actual door frame. There's a little slot for it to actually go in. So you put that in first. Make sure that's in. Then pull on it, just to make sure it's not only on the door card. And then you tighten the screw. And there you have it. A new speaker. Reassembled door card. Thanks for watching. This has been Loper Designs. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
very good, mate.